Hi, this is Rachel coming to you with this week's Sparkle of Shabbat. There's going to be a little bit of background noise this week because we are actually at the airport getting ready to visit my mother-in-law Sandy, and I'd like to dedicate this Sparkle to a refuah shalema for Sandy, an immediate and complete recovery for Sandy. She's recovering from some surgery, so we're thinking of her. And this week I'd like to talk a little bit about the idea of who is honored or who is honorable. And I wanted to tell a little story actually about Sandy, something that happened with her, and some reflections on the story. So this actually involves Sandy and the basketball player Shaquille O'Neal. A number of years ago, Sandy and my beloved father-in-law Jerry, Baronsweig of blessed memory, were in Florida, and I think they were visiting some family at a fancy hotel in Florida, and my mother-in-law got into the elevator. I think she must have been just sort of running an errand or something herself, and she stepped into an elevator with a very tall, big man, and she didn't know who it was, and she's a small lady, and she looked up at him and said, "Are you a basketball player?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And she said, "Are you famous?" And he said, "Nah, not really." And they just made some light conversation, and she got off the elevator, and she found out later that it was Shaquille O'Neal who said this. And he was just very casual and very humble, and she was amazed that it was him, and that he didn't say, "Oh yes, I'm famous and I play for this team and whatnot," but he was humble, and he made her feel comfortable with the interaction. And it makes me think about the ethics of our fathers, Pirkei Avot, and in chapter 4, when it talks about who is honored or who is honorable, someone who honors others. And I think this is a really perfect example of that, where he could have acted with a lot of arrogance in saying that he's a famous basketball player, and she certainly didn't know who he was, but he didn't. He was just really modest and said, "Nah, not really." And she said, "Oh, okay," and it didn't embarrass her. And afterwards, she was really surprised to find out who he was. I never forgot that story. It really resonated with me about the way he showed her honor, and the way he brought honor to himself by showing her honor. So my sparkle for this week would be, may we all look to honor each other all around us, so that we may ultimately bring honor to ourselves. That really is the ultimate way to do it. Shabbat Shalom.